Hey, and welcome to Stay at Home Time with Robin and African Payment Solutions. I watched a really good webinar, I think it was today actually, hosted by Darren Franks of Talent in the Cloud and hosting Nick of Apis Partners, which is a private equity company, almost $1 billion of private equity funding into financial services, and a lot of it across Africa or emerging markets. And Nick had some really awesome insights as to how to handle COVID and COVID now and post-COVID, and what to do in terms of leadership of his portfolio companies and the executives who are running them. So, as he said, I'm just going to give you the highlights because it was really awesome. And the eventual opening of the markets could be, who knows, between 2, 4, 6 weeks' time, whatever time. But unfortunately, we're living in a bit of a kind of honeymoon phase at the moment. And as Nick said, the real pain is going to come afterwards. There's going to be a significant impact in terms of loss of jobs and economy that's probably could be 70% of pre-COVID volumes. And it's really not just about the virus. It's about, what happens afterwards. And he said in terms of his scenario planning with his executive teams in the portfolio companies, the guiding principle is to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And in terms of the other markets, non-emerging markets, the more developed markets, there's kind of a lot of fiscal stimulus that's taking place that's going to give them possibly a soft landing. They might get hit a bit harder later, but they get a soft landing in terms of the bailouts that are coming at the moment for business and consumers, which is not really available across Africa as a much lower level of support. And most SMEs only have, like a month and a half's worth of cash flow. So many of them are going to fail. And so the peak, Nick says the peak in emerging markets could be severe, not because of the disease, but because of the economic fallout. And it could take up to 111 months to reach the same levels of pre-COVID levels. And so a couple of things he's been talking to his execs about. The one is that the initial focus on liquidity. So this is lessons for most businesses over the next 3 months to be able to survive and have sufficient cash. Then talking about how to restructure business operations and how to run them on a leaner model so that you can expand your runway and or improve profitability thereafter. And then the third would be to talk to them about how to take the offensive, what businesses are actually going to survive and thrive coming out of this, and how will the business serve this market. So being more on the offensive than on the defensive. And then in terms of a framework that he said that he sets up for his businesses is, one, to focus on the things that are within their locus of control. What is the impact on the business right now? Then secondly, what in the next 30 to 60 days focus on the high impact stuff on your business. Things that are within your control, what kind of cost cutting you can do, extension of receivables, debtors, etc., to improve your runway and cash flow. Thirdly, to make a list of all projects and to review and prioritize them and to eliminate any loss-making initiatives. And fourth, to assess the things outside the sphere of control but that might have a high impact on your business. For example, he mentioned funding a market in which you operate, which is quite an interesting creative thought. And then fifth is to delegate executives to delegate things within their sphere of control but that have a low impact so that you can focus on the main issues and you can have your staff take care of things. And then to get through the whole things, obviously to have good and frequent conversations and communication with executives and staff to make sure that everybody's included and on board. Somebody did mention, not to share completely because you don't want to freak them out, but it does make sense to stay close to your staff. I know that some businesses that I've been in contact with and been talking to have managed to come to arrangements where, their staff take less money and to get them through this patch so that they come out the other side strong enough to continue business. So, yeah, I thought that was a really awesome webinar. Thank you, Darren, and thank you, Nick, for some incredibly useful insights in terms of having clarity and having a strategy to be able to navigate through this crisis and come out the other side looking good. So thanks. I hope that was interesting for you today. I hope you're all staying safe. If you're looking for payment at the checkout, get hold of us at African Payment Solutions, and we'll see how we can help you. And we'll talk again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.